Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Attorney General Maura Healey made a campaign stop Tuesday to the South Attleboro Commuter rail station. The station has been closed for a year and a half because of the poor condition of the structure. The stop came just as her campaign announced a transportation plan. Here are some of her remarks during the visit.
Unfortunately, as I learned today, this is a station that was built in 1990. It was not built with the quality materials that it should have been built with. It was not built to be accessible. And for years, nothing was ever really done in terms of maintenance. And it was pretty staggering to look underneath and to see the rust, to see literally holes in the stairways and the treads missing. It just really a sign of the neglect here. But the good news is that thanks to the advocacy of these folks, things are going to change. And this is a station that, working with the state, working with the federal government, is going to get the upgrade that it needs. And that is going to help, I know, transform this area. That's what investment means. And that's why I think what President Biden has done and Congress with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act is so important. It's why the advocacy of our state legislature in supporting funding for infrastructure is so important, because something like this, to me, it's not just about commuting. It's about connecting our economy, connecting our economies. As you think about this starting down in Rhode Island and running all the way up to Boston, it's about quality way of life. It's about the opportunity to create other economic development opportunities around this area. We talked about the other station and the transit-oriented housing that's going in there, and how important that is, especially at a time when housing has become so expensive and out of reach for so many. So, I am really happy to be here today. I wanted to see firsthand what had happened with the state of things and disrepair, and I wanted to learn about what was actually possible and what could be implemented. Earlier today, I announced a transportation plan, and I think a lot of what I put forward in that plan is consistent with what I've heard today. I called for the creation of a transportation safety chief who would specifically be charged with identifying and reviewing existing and contemplated projects to make sure that the standards were in place so that something like this doesn't happen again. It shouldn't take a closure to necessitate action. The people of Attleboro deserved more. The people of the Commonwealth deserve more. So creating a transportation safety chief is one of the things I've put forward. I've also called for an audit, a review of existing projects and projects that are scheduled for delivery, because I would want to know as governor where things really are in terms of the pipeline. Again, this is about connecting the infrastructure of housing and transportation and our economy and our workforce. So we've got to hold people accountable. The other thing I've called for is investments in transit-oriented housing. We know that is a successful model, and so there's a lot of opportunity for that in communities like Attleboro and around the Commonwealth. We need to continue to electrify our transit system, and that's one thing that we talked about today. This happens to be a spot that is primed for electrification and should be harnessing what comes online. And so part of my plan, of course, calls for electrification by 2040. We've got to do that to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We know that transportation emissions are really contributing to the decline in the climate situation, and this is an opportunity. And I think about all of these things and the opportunity to have a system that is better functioning. We will not have a functioning economy in the Commonwealth if we don't have a functioning transit system. That includes the commuter rail, it includes the T, it includes our regional transit authorities and regional bus and train lines. We've got to make investment in all of this. We also need to make investments in bridges or roads. I've talked to a lot of mayors and town and city administrators and managers all over the state. Those investments are fundamental as well and contribute directly to the quality of people's lives. So I'm really happy to be here today, delighted to be joined by the delegation, and transportation and improving public transit is going to be a priority for me as governor. I can assure you that. So thank you very much.